Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin. So what is happening with Bitcoin lately? Well, quite a few things to be honest. I'm using the daily time frame as you can see up here. And what is happening is that yesterday, well actually for the past few days, Bitcoin started going down. I was expecting this. Um, and it was quite easily to predict after such a big push. So we know that around this area there is some level of resistance, and then Bitcoin went down, not even that much. We're just talking about a little bit, which is like 6% to its lowest. And then, as you can see, it seems like the buyers are quite strong. As you can see here, these candles literally represents how strong the buyers are and how much interest and volume there is in Bitcoin at the moment, and how little the sellers want to sell. So people are actually holding or even buying at the moment. Not everyone is selling. There was a little bit of selling point there because I believe it was quite obvious that the price was going to decrease. Even if 6% is not a lot, but we're talking of 6% in literally 4 days, which is a big change to be fair. So what is happening now, as you can see, from the lowest point, which was yesterday, it went up to the highest point, which is actually now by a 7%, which is crazy in 2 days for something that's supposed to be as stable as Bitcoin. We're talking about a lot of money. Now, at the moment, from level of resistance, which is this line here, we're only 2.7% away. So what does that mean? It means that we're currently following this movement here, as you can see. So we're currently between these two lines, where the bottom line works as measure level of support and the top line, as you can assume, works as measure level of resistance. So when we're talking about lines, we're talking about a certain area. So this line doesn't match a specific number or a specific price. It just shows you a specific area where level of resistance or support could be. So whenever Bitcoin is going to reach this area, which I think is going to happen within the following days if this kind of bullishness keeps going, then the next question is going to be what's going to happen? Because if the answer to is Bitcoin going to reach resistance is yes, then the next question, of course, is going to be is Bitcoin able to break through resistance? Now, this resistance at the moment is the only thing that's stopping us to go to the next level of resistance, which is to the next major level of resistance, which is up here. Of course, then we got resistance up here, as you can see, at 73k. So there are different levels of resistance. What could happen if this bullishness keeps going? And if people are not particularly interested to sell, if the buyers keep buying, if this current momentum keeps going, because this is what we need. We got a good momentum here. This candle represents how much of a good momentum we have. And as you can see previously, whenever we have a big candle, and this can be defined as a big candle, there is always a following upwards movement in the following days. So let's say this candle could be represented as this candle, and as you can see, for the following 2 days we had an upward movement, which wasn't impressive, but anyways, it represents bullishness. It's not always the case, but anyway, in this kind of situation, after people started buying, when it was down here, 630,000, I think enough people bought down there, and now they're willing to sell against level of resistance whenever that happens. I don't think there is going to be a major drop in price. I'm quite confident that Bitcoin has the potential to break through the current level of resistance, which is approximately 68k. And then if that happens, and as I mentioned before, the next level of resistance is going to be up here, which is 73k. So what could happen is that from this point it's going to go up, maybe have enough momentum to break through level of resistance, then keep going up. Then as soon as it reaches level of resistance up here, what's going to happen is going to go back down, okay, which is the typical breakthrough, reach level of resistance, lose a little bit of momentum, go down, test the previous level of resistance, which now hopefully becomes support, and then goes up, and and then we're going to have a new high. This could happen if we're extremely bullish. and if the momentum keeps going. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, because yeah, this is something that could happen in the following week. So this is more of a weekly thing. If we're really bullish, it could even happen tomorrow. But anyway, let's say it's a weekly thing, because with over the weekend that's not coming, the volume starts going a little bit slower. Bitcoin is not really going to move. Crypto are not really moving during the weekend. So what's going to happen from Monday onwards could represent actually a beautiful bullishness coming. However, in the bigger picture, what is happening, as you can see, is quite clear. So Bitcoin, prior to this movement, to this measured movement actually, it was below measured level of support. So let's say Bitcoin is back on its primary trend. The primary trend for Bitcoin has been for a long time bullish. And as you can see from this point onwards, from 2020 onwards up to 2022, so for 2 years, primary trend for Bitcoin is always been bullish. Yeah, so the primary trend has always been bullish, always been green. Then in 2022, as you're aware, this happened. And we can call this as a period of accumulation. And we call it a period of accumulation because of the bullishness that came after this period. So as you can see, now with all this momentum, Bitcoin managed to go back on its measured level of support. So the primary trend is back on the primary trend, and now is moving basically downwards. Yeah. So it's moving downwards. Usually this is called a bullish flag, yeah, because it goes up, and then we're going to make a flag downwards, which then is going to bring the price up again. Yeah, so it's just a continuation of the previous trend, which was this one. Yeah, so because the previous movement was bullish, and because we are now forming some sort of flag, most likely we're going to have a continuation of the current of the previous trend. So this is what the plan is, and this is what we should expect in the bigger picture. So in the bigger picture, I'm quite confident that eventually, in a few weeks possibly, we have the potential to reach a bigger high, and you need to get ready, because this is actually really nice, that we could actually, in not too long, depends, maybe 2025-ish, we could actually reach 90,000 or above. Yeah. So as you can see, we're currently here, which is July. Now, let's be realistic. We're talking about the weekly time frame at the moment. And as you can see, every week, even if Bitcoin's moved quite a bit, it's unrealistic that Bitcoin is going to reach this level of resistance any week soon. I don't think it's going to take a few weeks. I think it's going to take longer than that. So we can expect Bitcoin to reach the measured level of resistance, which is this line here. And this line is really important because every single previous highest high touched this line. And Bitcoin is going to test that line again. I don't think it's going to break through it. However, it's going to touch it again, definitely. Whenever that happens, it could be 2025, or it could be 2024. But if it happens in 2024, the price is going to be 90K. If it happens in 2025, it could be 100K. Yep. So we're talking about a much larger time frame than before. However, this is something to be really positive on, because we got this beautiful flag here, which is really positive. Yeah. And then another positive thing is that we're on measured level of support. So we're back on our primary trend. And even if Bitcoin is going to go down to 50K, it doesn't really matter, because we got our measured level of support here. And remember, after the breakthrough, yeah, of our measured level of resistance, which was this, and now it became measured level of support, we never had a pullback. So the price of Bitcoin never went down to test measured level of support again, to then bounce back up. That could happen. That could potentially happen after Bitcoin goes up. It's going to go up to test this level of resistance around 90K. Let's say, for instance, it's going to test 90K, is going to fail, because this level of resistance, I think, is going to take a good few years to break through. But anyway, if it does going to fail, then we're going to potentially have something like in the past, where it goes back on measure level of support. So it goes back on measure level of support. If that happens, then we're going to have another accumulation phase, which could be a few weeks as prior. So a few weeks accumulation, then it's going to try again and then reach 100K in the 2025. And then whenever that happens, if there is enough momentum, and God knows what's going to happen by then, it could break through or it could fall back down again. Start another long accumulation phase. Who knows? But anyway, what I believe is definitely going to happen is that this is going to bring to a measure bullishness event, which then is going to bring Bitcoin eventually against measured level of resistance. So in the following week, I'm definitely bullish. Long term, I'm definitely bullish, and we will see what's going to happen in the future. I hope this video helped you. So if you're holding Bitcoin, keep holding, definitely. It looks amazing. If you want to get into Bitcoin, wait for level of support. There is no point of buying now. You should never buy when the stock or the coin or the token is far from level of support. That would be just literally wanting to lose money. So just wait and see. And I will see you next time.